Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, usually on Fridays we'd have a biology for beginners episode, but this week I'm pretty pissed off, so let's sit down and have a chat about fireworks and why my neighbors are a bunch of assholes. Now, before we really get into my anger, a little bit of background. Last weekend was the 4th of July weekend, and for those of you that don't know, that's kind of a big deal in the United States because that's the day that we celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence and our country's birthday. Which, cool, I'm all for that. Love my country. This is not me being pissed off about that. One of the major celebrations we have here is fireworks, because, you know, what symbolizes freedom more than colorful minor explosions in the sky that, if they're not properly managed, may set a massive effing wildfire? Because patriotism, freedom, colors, loudness, all lovely, and when these firework displays are managed by professionals, they are quite safe and a fun experience for the whole family, except for those that don't like loud noises. And usually 4th of July, it's kind of hell. I have to sit up with the dogs because there's fairly large local fireworks displays, but whatever, like, not a big deal. My dogs, the little ones bark a bit. My German Shepherd's pretty quiet, and he's kind of hard to bother with loud noises and stuff. This year, however, neighbors and people just in our general area have been setting off fireworks for the last 2 weeks. And it's been fucking annoying. So for the couple of weeks it's been going on, it'd be like 1 or 2 in the middle of the night, the dog would get me up, be pissed off, and then we'd go back to bed, I'd be mad, flip off the universe because clearly it's the universe's fault. But starting on the night of July 3rd, there were very loud fireworks in my little community. Now, I don't live in a gated community, but I do live in a kind of rustic feeling, not gated community, if that makes sense. We don't really have a hard fence line, but we're a wannabe gated community out here in the sticks. But where we are in California, the particular area we're in, the biome, is a chaparral desert kind of borderline of where those 2 biomes meet. So all of the plants here are very flammable. We did have a lot of growth and a lot of rain this winter, and everything now is dried out and just ready to catch on fire because it's California. California is always on fire, and in my particular area, we're coming up to it's our turn to be on fire soon. And that's all fine and dandy. Don't we love being on fire? California's just a bunch of witches anyway, burn them all. But the problem here is, as I was staying up late with my dogs on the 3rd, I was very angry, but the fireworks, whatever, they were at least a couple miles away. I was on fairly high alert. I had carriers for everyone in case a fire did break out and we had to get out. But my dog was very stressed out and very upset, and I don't usually see my Shepherd mix that stressed out or upset, so that upset me. But whatever, we got through the night. I got a whole 2-ish hours of sleep, and fireworks finally stopped around 1 a.m., which is, you know, super cool and super what I wanted in my life that night. But here we come on the 4th of July. I went up, played with my horse a little like I always do, since she's young and fairly unhandled, so training. And we made sure to be back home before dark so we could be home with the dogs. Now, it gets dark here around 8:30, 9 o'clock. But the sun hadn't quite gone down, so I tried to open up the house, let some fresh air in. It had finally cooled off. As soon as I did that, a freaking firework went off somewhere in my community. So it was very loud, very close to the house. All of my dogs got very upset. I called them in, I closed the house back up. And this was before it was dark. This was around 8:15. So we still had at least a half hour before it was really dark enough to warrant the goddamn fireworks. And this continued to go on until 1 in the morning. And the problem here is the fireworks were so effing close to us that I could feel the shockwave in my chest. I could see them coming out of neighbors' yards. And before I get those comments down below, yes, I was calling the cops every couple of minutes. All of their phone lines were busy. And they were so busy that they had to post on their social media that, yes, they are doing their best. The phone lines are full. Yes, they are responding to a bunch of fireworks and firearm calls, but the firearm calls obviously have to take precedence because people could be murdered. I stayed up with my very terrified 100 or so pound German Shepherd mix trying to crawl into my lap all night because he was so scared. My terrier mix, that's usually a fairly loud, fairly in-your-face kind of girl when she gets sad or scared, got so stressed out that she just stopped making noise and just sat in a corner of the couch, staring wide-eyed. In the morning, when we got up, there was soot and fireworks shrapnel in my goddamn swimming pool. They're lucky that whatever landed in my pool did not land in my house and catch it on fire. And so here we get to the issue. These fireworks that were being set off are illegal in my state. Now, yes, they are the same professional grade goddamn fireworks being set off in the professional displays, which is fine because those are professionals doing it with proper safety precautions in place to ensure that they don't light an entire neighborhood on fire. But the point here is that these fireworks are not only disrespectful to your neighbors when you're doing crap like that, but they're illegal for a reason, and not just because California is strict or whatever. They're illegal because you could start a wildfire very easily in these areas. The particular plant life here is adapted to live with fairly constant wildfire compared to other areas. And some of these chaparral plants here actually produce chemicals that promote wildfire, and their seeds need to be introduced to smoke from fires, but that is not the point here. The point is this was very dangerous, very inconsiderate, considering I did not go to bed that night until around 1 a.m. when the fireworks finally stopped and my dog finally calmed down enough. I'm very angry. I'm mad, but I realize that there's not much that I can do with this video, but at least we're getting some sort of word out and some conversation going, whether or not many people see this. Because these fireworks, while they can be fun in the well-managed professional displays, the general public should not be setting them off, especially in fairly tight-packed communities where you can set someone's house on fire or start a wildfire. My particular community owns the land around our community and keeps it wild. So what if a spark had landed in there and set off all of that wilderness area, which I say in quotes because it's not. a real wilderness area, technically speaking, but it is, but it isn't. That's not the point right now. But the point is, I know that this was not only going on in my community, on my own social media pages for personal use. I've talked to other people that had the exact same thing going on around them in other states as well. Just slightly up north where my horse lives at my aunt's house, that was going around there. Their dogs are still very stressed out from the last couple of days. My dogs are still stressed out. And it's just something, and I think it's a symptom of the state of the nation at the moment, is just this complete disregard for the safety of others for personal enjoyment or well-being. And it angers me, it saddens me, and 4th of July was honestly hell. It was one of the worst days so far of 2020, just because of the way my night was spent. And I don't have any solutions here. But if you're going to think that it's okay to smuggle in fireworks like that and set them off in your backyard, you are part of the problem. It's not okay. You're risking so much by doing that. I'm not even saying you're risking getting arrested. I don't care about arrests or fines. I care about you risking setting off a wildfire or setting somebody else's house on fire because of your few seconds of enjoyment. Is it worth it? I don't necessarily think it is. But maybe that's the world we're living in right now. And I don't know what's going to get through to some people, because we're living at a time where you need to be considering public welfare as well as your own well-being. Last night, at the time of recording, I'm recording this video on Monday. So last night, some of my neighbors had a gathering. Now, I'm not going to talk about how I feel about that. That's not the point of this video. As soon as it got dark, they set off some sort of like crackers or sparklers or something in their yard. But the point is, they're a type of these firework type things that are actually legal in our area because they don't go very far off the ground and they're not very loud. Or, I mean, any firework is dangerous, but these ones are not dangerous. They went on for a few seconds, did their little crackers, their little sparkles, they were done. That was perfectly fine. But the difference is setting off these fireworks that you have no business setting off if you're not a professional anyway, in a backyard, like a few yards away from my house. That's unacceptable. And the fact that this was going on all over in my county, there were several fires that had broken out, and the local fire departments had posted the number of fires. And the scary part of that post was the number of fires that they didn't currently have fire engines to go respond to. It's just, I don't understand the disconnect in some people's brains to put so many people at risk with their actions. Because in this particular case, if a wildfire had broken out, it wouldn't have just been our community at risk. It would have been the communities around us too. So I don't really know what the disconnect was there, but I'm angry. It was inconsiderate, and I don't know how to fix the problem, especially since the United States is such a pot of boiling water right now where it's not going to take much to set off something scary. And I don't want to focus on that, but seriously, guys, fireworks can be fun in the right context, but don't set them off in your goddamn backyard, and don't make your neighbors wake up with the result in their goddamn swimming pool. I'm sorry that this one's been a little angry, but I'm done before I start repeating myself and yelling again. So Next week, Biology for Beginners will be back and we'll be diving into Chapter 4. I will see you guys all next time. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane V. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.